Another M. Night Shyamalan twist, this time at a concert. Let's talk about Trap. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass. You might be wondering why I have a microphone in my hand. Well, I'm going to talk to you about Trap, the all-new M. Night Shyamalan experience. They call it an experience now, not a movie. That came to theaters on August 2nd, 2024. It is a new M. Night Shyamalan movie. Now, what is the twist? What is this craziness? And should you watch it? Well, my hot take is I think you should watch later. Look, it's perfectly enjoyable. It's a fine thriller. It has a really great cast, a really wonderful setting, a good setup, and it has some interesting twists and turns along the way. I didn't love how it felt like maybe some of the narration was fed to you, and how some of the twists felt a little unrealistic. But look, it's a Shyamalan movie. Some of them are going to feel unrealistic. Overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. I definitely think you should check it out. Just maybe wait for it to come to streaming or on demand. So, all that being said, I'm gonna tell you a little about the film, a few things I like, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap and the ending. So if you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off when you get to the ending. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know I get to those spoilers. So, Trap deals with a trap. And what is this trap? Well, it is at this big concert for this pop star, this R&B star named Lady Raven. Now, Cooper, who is this like awkward, silly dad, takes his daughter Riley to go see the show. Lady Raven is her favorite artist. She wants to go to the show. He managed to get tickets, and so they go. But when they get there, it seems like there is a lot more going on. It seems like there is a like legit police presence here, and it seems like maybe there is an ulterior motive to this whole concert. What is it going to be? And what is the Shyamalan twist? Is this some sort of weird game show? Is this some sort of extermination event? Is this the start of a zombie apocalypse where they all like dreaming and they're in like VR? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. So, things I liked about this movie. The first, look, I love Josh Hartnett. Like, I like Josh Hartnett. I think he's a great actor. I think he's a lot of fun. And it was good to see him back in a like headlining role, a starring role. He did a fantastic job. He did a really good job playing Cooper. He was like fun, awkward, relatable. Definitely had like that dad vibe going. And good on him because he was playing someone that apparently is in their 30s. I don't think he's in his 30s, but he looks fantastic. Second thing I love about this movie, related, I like the whole cast. I mean, like I already said, Josh Hartnett does a great job, but the rest of the cast is really fun. Ariel Donoghue does a really good job as as the daughter Riley. So Saleka Shyamalan does a nice job as the Lady Raven character. I mean, she's an R&B artist already, so this is something that she knows. But I think it was people would probably think that she got this through nepotism, but she does a good job in her own right. I liked her character, and you get to see more of her than just like an R&B star. And I love some of the cameos. One of the people that shows up in this film is Kid Cudi, which I love. Like I'll see anything he's in. He's a fantastic actor. He's a lot of fun. So definitely a lot of really good characters. Definitely a fun cast overall. And the third thing I loved, I like the setup. It is a really good setup. It definitely kind of keeps you wondering. It seems like a normal concert, but then some things start to feel a little off, and it makes you wonder like what is going on and what is happening next. And the last thing I love the twist. There's a lot of twists in here. There's definitely some things that happen that you don't really expect, and the movie does try to keep you, going for a loop here and there. I'm not going to go into them right now, but you'll learn about them if you watch the movie or in the ending discussion. So that being said, things I didn't love as much about this movie. The first, there's some obvious narration. Now, like I said, I like the setup. The setup gives you this feeling like something is going on. You don't really know what, but there is a scene pretty early on where one of the characters basically tells you what's going on, and it was useful as a viewer, but I felt like it could have been done a little bit more kind of like nuanced because the setup was great. Like you didn't really know what was going on. And it kind of fed you a little bit here and there. I thought that they could have revealed the story a little bit better too. Maybe not have one character tell you basically everything. Maybe have like a few things that you find out from chatter or from events that happen. It would have been nice to have it be a little bit more subtle. And the second thing I didn't love as much, I'm gonna call it an unfulfilling ending. I mean, the ending is fine, and there's plenty of twists and turns, but the overall like final end doesn't really give you a great sense of closure. The last thing I didn't love, there were some like I don't know, superhuman things that happen, like not like superhero type, but like some sort of superhuman things that kind of happened, and it felt like a little bit unrealistic. And the last thing that I didn't love as much about this movie, I'm gonna save it for the ending discussion because it'll be a spoiler. So I'm not gonna say it here, but there was I'll just call it the twist. So all that being said, Trap comes to theaters on August 2nd, 2024. Like I said, I liked it. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. It was a perfectly enjoyable thriller. It was fun to see Josh Hartnett in a starring role. And it's definitely a story that'll keep you guessing what's going to happen next. So definitely check it out eventually. Just maybe wait for it to come to streaming or on demand. So all that being said, I'm going to go into any discussion right now. So if you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So Trap starts with Cooper, Josh Hartnett's character, taking his daughter Riley to see the Lady Raven concert. Lady Raven is her favorite artist. She is obsessed with her. And so they're finally going to this big concert in Philadelphia. And it seems like it's going well. They get there. She sees Lady Raven come into the stadium. She's super excited. They get in there. They spend a lot of time there. They get there early. They get some food. It feels like it is less a concert and more of like a full day. But as this is happening, you see some like weird things happening. You see like cops around, and not like, normal event security at a normal concert, and not even just like police officers. You see like legit decked out, like kitted out cops, SWAT units, like special operations people at this concert. And you're like, that's weird. Like that seems like a heavy dose of police, enforcement for this concert. And it seems like people occasionally seem to be getting checked, maybe seem to be getting taken into custody. So something is going on. The cops are like going into the rows and like looking at certain people. So something is going on here. Now, what is it going to be? Like, what is this twist? Is this like a human extermination project? Is this some sort of like, I don't know, targeted assassination that's happening? Is this like a game show and these are contestants that are winning, but they're actually losing? You have to watch the movie to find out. You have to find out what that big twist is. But you don't have to wait too long because we find out fairly soon. So partway through the show, Cooper goes to the bathroom, and when he gets in the bathroom, he checks his phone. And before this, he'd been like a funny, like awkward kind of dad character, like someone who seemed out of touch a little bit, but not in like a weird way, just like as you would expect a normal dad to be. He doesn't know some of the language, he doesn't know some of the like slang that kids are using, because like who can keep up with that? It's so weird, like no cap, right? And then when he gets into the bathroom, he checks his phone and a video pulls up, and it looks like someone who's like chained up. And you're like, that's really weird. Like, what is going on? Why does he have that video in there? And then after this, as he's washing his hands, he looks over and he sees this like old woman in the men's bathroom. And he kind of like closes his eyes and looks again, and she's gone. So there's something going on here. There's more to Cooper than we anticipate. So that goes back. They leave again, like they leave so many times during this concert. I don't know how long this concert was. It feels like it was like 3 days, because he leaves to go to the bathroom, he comes back. They leave to go to the merch stand during like an intermission. He leaves multiple times. Like this concert feels like it is going on for a very long time. I guess they probably got their money's worth. But later, Riley and him go to the merch stand, and they're looking for a shirt. And he makes friends with the merch, the merch worker, and he's like, "Hey, like, what's going on? Like, what's going on here?" And this is when you get basically a full rundown of what's happening. So the merch person tells him like, "Hey, this person, the butcher, this like serial killer who has been like, I guess, chopping up bodies and leaving them around. Well, the feds heard that he was going to be at this concert today, and so the whole concert is a trap. And they're watching all the exits, checking everyone as they leave. And we were given like a briefing before on all this stuff. It's really cool, right?" And so again, like I appreciated it from a viewing perspective, but it felt like they could have done this a little bit more subtly. Like maybe he could have just said, "Look, I can't tell you, but like there's some VIP here." Like he could have said that. And then you got to start figuring out what that means and get some more context clues, things like that, rather than him just like basically giving you the entire plot of the movie. So now we pretty much know that Cooper is the butcher, because he had that video of the person who was chained up, and he starts really looking for a way out. You think he would start panicking, but he starts like becoming a little bit more methodical, trying to like figure out how to get out of here. And he also has to go back to the merch table to get that shirt that he wanted to buy. They were out of stock at that point, so he decided to. So the merch person told him to come back. When he comes back, he gets some more information. He finds out that they were given a briefing, and they all have code words, and the merch person gives him his code word. And while he's like helping him out, Cooper steals the merch person's like ID card, or like access card. So now he has a little bit more access. He goes to like a police briefing. He goes into like a back area, goes to a police briefing. He is very good about like staying calm in tense situations. And so when he goes there, he's like, "Oh, I'm here just checking the coffee." He goes to like check the coffee. And while he's there, he steals a police radio. So now he gets some more information about what all is going on. And I was like, I mean, yes, but don't they have like cameras on anything? Like, wouldn't it be weird to see someone dressed in normal clothes going into the employee area? Shouldn't they like flag that if they're monitoring everything? Shouldn't the cops in the area be wondering why this person's not wearing like any sort of uniform? They don't, I guess. It's fine. Little things like that felt a little bit off. So now that he has a like police radio, he hears some more information. They have some descriptions of what they think the butcher is, and they have some of a wide array of descriptions. But one of them is like basically fits him to a T. They say he's like a 30-something male with like a yellow jacket and some sort of animal tattoo on his wrist, which fits him. And again, good on Josh Hartnett for playing a 30-year-old male. Let's see how old he actually is. Dude was born in 1978. So he is July 21st, 1978 to he is 46 years old. He's playing a 30 something. Good on you. I mean, he looks great. Like good on him. He looks fantastic. Again, good job, Josh. Now, he starts kind of probing to try to figure out how to get out of here. And one of the things he's thinking is like maybe I'll get to the roof. Maybe no one will be up on the roof. But how does he get up there? Well, he has to cause a distraction. So he goes into the food area and somehow manages to like sneak behind without anyone noticing. Again, you'd think that someone would notice if this person wearing regular clothes went back behind in the food prep area, but it's okay. He turns the stove up, throws some like jars of oil in there, and gets out. And then later, one of the employees is like coming by. She looks over, the oil is bubbling. She looks down, the jars are like, getting really, really hot. And then they explode. She gets oil on her. She gets glass in her. She is screaming. And this causes enough of a distraction for Cooper to go up onto the roof. And he thinks he's okay. But when he gets up there, the roof is swarming. But again, he shows how cool he is because when he gets up there, the cops ask him, like, what's going on? And he kind of thinks on the fly of the story. Like, I mean, it's a true story, but he's like, oh, there's an accident down there. I had to get out of there. Like, I couldn't handle it. It was too traumatic, and he is able to talk himself out of this situation. So you see that Cooper is very smart, he's very calculated, and he stays cool under pressure. So when he goes back to, see his daughter, he's been gone for like 35 minutes probably. It's kind of a crazy amount of time, but he goes back to see his daughter and she's talking to him and she says, I really hope I get picked for the dream girl. And he's like, why is that? And she's like, oh, well, like, you get up on stage, you get to sing, you get up on stage with Lady Raven, and then also you get to go backstage. And Cooper's like, that's a good idea. I should be able to go backstage because he thinks that that will be an easier avenue out of here. So he wanders back. He finds, someone who looks like they work for Lady Raven, and he kind of strikes up a conversation with them. And he finds out that this is like Lady Raven's uncle. And it's also M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan always has some sort of role in the movie he's in. This is his role. He is like one of Lady Raven's entourage. And so he talks to him briefly and mentions like, oh, I'm so happy we're here. Like my daughter's a huge fan. He like points out who she is, and he's like, she just got over leukemia, and the M. Night Shyamalan's character's like, oh my gosh. He's like, oh, it's fine. Like she's doing great, and she's just really happy to be here. She feels like the luckiest person in the world. So he just kind of plants that seed in there, and then he goes back a little bit later. She gets chosen as a dream girl. They come back over, they, pick her, they take her up to the front of the stage, and they get ready to get up on stage. And while this is happening, you get a moment where you almost think that he's going to get caught because they have to go through security, and the security is like, hey, we should check this person out. And my Shyamalan's character is like, no, he's good. Like he's with us. He's good. And so they're able to talk their way through up on the stage. So she's picked as the dream girl. She's up there with Lady Raven. It's a fun scene. She starts off a little nervous, but she kind of like grows into it. She starts dancing and things like that. It's a really cute scene. If her father wasn't a serial killer, it would be a wonderful feel-good moment. It still is kind of a feel-good moment, but while he's up there, so he's trying to like figure out other avenues of escape, and he's trying to like probe some more because while he's up there, one fan like started to feel faint, and so he helps that person down into like the hospital area, and he helps take care of her. And while he's there, he's like looking around to see like what all is there. So it's really, I really like this. I really like this character because he's very methodical. He's like trying to figure out, is there an avenue for me to get out of here? Is there some sort of escape? And then during the concert, like I said, there's a cameo. This person who like apparently gave Lady Raven her start comes to sing a song with her, and it's Kid Cudi playing like a diva type character. He has like really long blonde hair. He's kind of a jerk before he gets on stage, and then on stage he seems really nice. He's really nice to Lady Raven, and then he's a jerk after. It was a fun cameo. I wish he had more. Like, I wish he was there for more than that. It's just like, a quick scene, and then you get a little quick scene later, backstage when he like says hi to Riley and like hits on Cooper. So I wish he was there for more. Would have loved to have like a longer arc with Kid Cudi, but we only get him for a little bit. Now, after the concert, uh, Riley and Cooper go backstage and they wait for Lady Raven. They're waiting to like say goodbye to her, and she wants to give him something and whatnot. And Cooper thinks he's okay, but then afterwards, but the stage manager who's been like helping them says like, yeah, so afterwards you'll say goodbye to her, and then you'll go through this hallway to get out, and they can walk straight out, but they have to go through a barrage of cops who are checking everyone. So Cooper's plan, he did all this work to get backstage to try to be able to sneak out, and it seems like that's not going to work. So he kind of has to, go all in. And so later, when Lady Raven comes to say goodbye to them, he asks if he can speak to her in private, and she says okay. And so they go and speak in private, and that's when he like shows her the video of the person who is tied up in the basement. And he's like, I think you've been looking for me. And now you have a choice. You can turn me in or you can save this person's life. And he basically threatens her that if she does anything, he will release some gas that's going to kill this person. And all he wants is to go out in her personal limousine. So she agrees. She doesn't want to be responsible for her death, so she takes them all in her personal limousine out the back. And because he's part of like her inner circle at that point, he doesn't get checked. So he escapes. He's good. Well, we'll see. As they're driving, they drive for a little bit, and then he's like, "Oh, you can just let me off in the corner. It's fine." And so they're about to get out, and that's when Lady Raven thinks quickly, and she's like, hey Riley, like I want to see your home. Like, where are you from? I want to see where you're from. And Riley is super excited. And Cooper realizes he can't really do much, so they go to Riley's home. When they get there, his wife is there, his son is there. They go inside. They show Lady Raven the house, and it's really kind of awkward and tense. Like it feels like she's trying to get more information. She's trying to like figure out what's going on, and he's trying to like get her out of there. So this becomes like a fun cat and mouse with Lady Raven asking some questions and you getting some more information. One of the things I liked is like each of the female characters had like a nice, interesting piece of jewelry. Riley had like a black, a ring with like a black stone in it, and Cooper's wife had like a necklace. And they both said like, "Oh, Cooper got it for us. He found a weird sale." I think we all know where that jewelry came from, but that was like a fun little touch too. Now it also becomes a cat and mouse game because Raven is trying to get some more information and trying to like expose Cooper, but he is trying to get her out of there. But so eventually, Rachel Cooper's wife asks Raven like how the concert was, and she's like, "Oh, it was strange," and she's like, "Why?" And then Raven says about 2 weeks ago, the police found a portion of a receipt for a Lady Raven ticket in a fake house that the butcher used. And so they don't know why it was there, but they realized that he was probably going to be at the concert. So they set up this entire trap to try to get the butcher because they knew he was going to be there. There weren't that many men there. And so they were going to like scan them all and figure out, which one was the butcher. And that's when Cooper says like, "Oh, you had a really long day. You've been really generous with us. Let me walk you out." And Lady Raven looks like she's about to, but then she says, "Oh, let me play a song for you, Riley." And Riley is super excited about this. She goes onto the piano, they play a song, and Lady Raven like, hides Riley's phone. And Cooper is recording this, obviously. It's a big moment for his daughter. His daughter loves Lady Raven. He's recording this right by the piano. And afterwards, Lady Raven's like, "Oh, let's take a picture." And Riley like can't find her phone, and she's like, "Oh, let's use your dad's." So she grabs Cooper's phone, takes the picture, and then like awkwardly is like, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom." And while this is happening, Cooper is like, "No, no, give me back my phone, give me back my phone." She's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta go to the bathroom." And so she eventually goes in the bathroom, locks the door, and that's when Cooper starts banging on the door, saying, "Give me my phone, give me my phone." His wife doesn't know what's going on. His daughter doesn't know what's going on. He's acting very weird. And then eventually you hear some like smashing and things like that. You don't know what's happening, but Lady Raven is using the phone to contact Spencer, the person that she'd seen earlier, the person that's locked up. She gets some information from him about where he is and if he saw anything. And the only things he knew is there's like a broken lion statue and a blue door. So she goes on to Instagram live streams like, "Hey, my fans, I need you to like help me out here. Like, who in Philadelphia knows of a place that has like a broken lion out front and a blue door?" And one of her fans knows this. And she's like, "Hey, person who knows this, you need to get some adults and head to that place now. Like, someone's in trouble." So she uses her fame to get someone over there. And then eventually she unlocks a door and lets Cooper in. And this was weird because I thought that like Cooper was going to do something crazy. I thought he was going to like take a fire axe and start hacking it down, but no, we don't get that. Now, Cooper says it's time to go, and so he takes her to the garage and he makes her get in their car. And he's about to drive away when he opens the garage door and his family is out front. He had locked them in Riley's room, but he didn't think about like Cooper's a very methodical person. He tries to plan everything. He didn't think that his family would escape out the window. And so they escape out the window. They're out front. They're blocking the car. And so Cooper is not able to leave. I think he was going to leave and take Lady Raven with him and then, I don't know, probably kill her. He has his like bag of tools there. And so because he can't leave, Lady Raven gets out and stands by the family. So as they're doing this, the cops all come to the house. They all swarm the house. And Cooper closes the garage door and comes back into the house and starts picking up. He's also a neat freak. That was one of the things about his profile. And one of the things that was like fun to see throughout, like he would like constantly be fixing things, like fixing towels that were off and whatnot. So now that the SWAT is like surrounding his house, he picks up a little bit, puts away the food that they were serving, and goes into the closet and starts moving things away. When the SWAT goes in there, they find out that he's not there. There was some sort of tunnel that leads out into his neighbor's yard. So Cooper has escaped. Now, the SWAT also sent all the civilians away. So Rachel and the kids went somewhere else, and a police officer went to drive Lady Raven's limousine away. Now, unfortunately for Lady Raven, that police officer stops a few blocks away, turns around, and it's Cooper again. He like subdued a SWAT officer, changed into him. And again, this felt very fast. It felt like it would be very tough for him to do this, like to be able to do this, but you know, it works for the story. But he had subdued a police officer, put on his gear, got in the car, drove Lady Raven away. Now he's gonna take her hostage. He like handcuffs her to the car door handle, and keeps driving. Now, eventually, they get stuck in traffic. They get stuck around a bunch of people. And so Lady Raven is trying, and she's eventually able to open her window, and people see her. They like swarm the car. She's like, call for help, call for help. And Cooper doesn't really know what to do. He can't drive through these people. I mean, yes, he could, but that would cause a bigger scene. So he's just like waiting here, trying to like get people to move. Lady Raven is pushing at the door, pushing at the door. Eventually, she's able to break the handle, and she gets out and goes into the crowd. Now, the crowd is surrounded the limousine. No one can go out. They're all like filming too, which is, you know, obviously normal, but a weird detail because you'll see what happens later. Now, the cops eventually come to the limousine. They go, they move the civilians away. They tell Cooper to, you know, get out of the car, to put his hands up. He's not moving. He's not moving. They shoot the window and also shoot him, but they realize that it is just like the gear that was propped up. So somehow, while the crowd was surrounding him, Cooper was able to like change into normal clothes somehow and sneak out of the limousine while everyone's around him, everyone's recording. Again, not super realistic, but it's fine. So eventually we see Rachel back at the family's house. The kids are with her sisters, but she's back at the family house. There are two officers stationed out front to watch her, but she is there, you know, making some tea. And eventually she gets startled because Cooper's sitting at the table, and he and her start talking. He, you know, and he starts like asking her, like, he thinks maybe the trap wasn't actually set at the concert. Maybe it was set here. And he thinks that she thought he was having an affair. And she goes in, she said she did. She did. He would have late nights, he would have unexplained absences, things like that. So she thought maybe he was having an affair. But then something struck her. His clothes smelled like cleaning products, and not like fireman cleaning products, but like cleaning products you smell at a hospital. So she thought that there was something weird going on. And then later, he like lied to one of their neighbors, like effortlessly. They were gonna do something and he lied to get out of it. And she like realized he can lie this easily. That's a little scary. So she followed him one day, and she followed him to one of his safe houses. This was just like a safe house that he used for planning. So he was a fireman, and so all these houses would be shut down for fire code violation, just kind of be forgotten. So he would use these houses as like staging areas. This one was just for playing. This is where he would just sit and think, but he also would bring victims to these houses and like use them to like be out of sight. So she followed him to one of these safe houses and left the torn concert receipt there, and then called the cops. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know that he was the butcher, but I guess she suspected that he was the butcher. And so she used this to like get the cops there to swarm the concert. And then she was going to use it as like a indicator. Like if he was the butcher, they would catch him. If he wasn't, it would be fine. I feel like there are easier ways to do this. You don't have to set up an entire trap concert to do this, but this is what her plan was. Now, at this point, Cooper has a knife and he has his shirt off. And again, Josh Hartnett looks great. Good on him. He looks like he's about ready to kill her, and she's like, "Can we please just enjoy this last piece of Riley's pie? Like it's a celebration. Like let's just have this last piece of pie." He says, "Okay." She serves the pie to him. He's eating it, and he's talking to her about like how he's angry and this is unfamiliar because he's usually a very calm and collected person. And after he eats the pie, he sees there's a bunch of powder in there, and he kind of like picks up the like puts his finger on the powder, looks at it, and he's like, "You found my bag, didn't you? The bag that he had in the car when he was going to take Lady Raven. It's his like bag of tools." And she's like, "Yeah." So she must have taken like some powder that he had in there and sprinkled it on the pie. So he starts to feel woozy. He like gets up like he's gonna do something, but he can't. And then he sees his mother in the doorway. And he's talking to her. They have a conversation. She tells him to come closer, and so he comes closer. And this is all hallucination. Obviously, his mother's not actually there, but his like anger and his like problems develop at a young age when his mother realized something was up with him, and she was very, very strict with him. That's why he is such a neat freak. That is why he's such a disciplinarian. That's also probably why he cuts people up. So he walks towards his mother, and as he's walking towards her, eventually two cops tase him. They like shoot him with tasers. It doesn't take him down. Like I don't know what he's on, but like the two tasers don't take him down. He's able to attack one of the cops, and then the main FBI lady who's been like profiling him the entire time comes in and tases him too. Three tasers are able to take him down. They get him into custody and they take him out. Now, as he's leaving, he sees a bike over on its side and he asks for a second to fix the bike. He fixes the bike, gets up, gets taken away, gets in the car, and the camera pans back to the house and it pans back to the bike, and it looks like something was taken from the bike. And back in the car, as they're driving away, you see Cooper pull out like a little rod from his sleeve that he got from the bike, bends it, and starts picking the locks. And he picks the locks of his handcuffs, gets them off, and then he just starts laughing. And that's the movie. Does he escape? You don't know. What is he next? You don't know. It seems like maybe he might get out and do something, but again, it was a little bit of an unfulfilling ending because it felt like he had come to like conclusion. The whole point was like he just wanted to do one more and then he was going to like end it all. And I guess, that end was going to be killing his wife and then killing himself. It wasn't going to be that originally, but now that he was so angry at his wife for turning him in, he was going to do that. That didn't happen. So I don't know. I figure he'd probably just like go to prison, accept his fate, or kill himself somewhere else. But that doesn't seem to be happening. He seems to be wanting to escape. Maybe that whole thing was a ruse to like make people feel pity for him. I don't know. We don't know what happens next because that's the end of the movie. There is a stinger right at the start of the credits, right as the credits start. You see the person who helped him, the merch person who basically told him the entire plan. He's watching the news. The story comes up that the butcher was caught, and they describe the person. They say he's Cooper. He's like, "Oh, that's Cooper." And they see a picture. He's like, "Oh my God, that's Cooper." Like, I'm never talking to anyone at work again. So it's a funny scene. It's clever. Oh, and you might ask, what's the big Shyamalan twist? That's the thing. There was no big Shyamalan twist. This wasn't like, an experiment. This wasn't them in a virtual concert world. They weren't playing like a game of who's the murderer. They weren't like in some sort of weird extermination field. This isn't like an apocalypse. The twist was we find out early that Josh Hartnett is the butcher. That was the twist. And so then we had to figure out how to get him out of there. So it was a more conventional thriller, not your normal M. Night Shyamalan movie, and that's the movie. That's Trapped. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It's a perfectly fine thriller. It's enjoyable. I definitely think you should check it out. Just maybe wait for it to come to streaming or on demand. So if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I would love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.